Hey there, what's up, guys? Happy to be with you once again, and we have another league match here for you today against Shanghai Shenxin, who we should be able to dominate. Starting off here on this screen to give you a glimpse. I think we've met Shui Xiaopeng already. Let me take a quick look at him and see. Yeah, he's originally from Beijing University. We started him a couple of games ago. The one that I want to show that we haven't started yet is this guy, Miguel Sandberg. Miguel Sandberg is, you're going to look at his name and think, well, this looks like he may be Spanish or something like that. Sandberg, maybe he's from Northern Europe. He's actually Taiwanese, which is really interesting. This is a real life player, not a new gen. He's Taiwanese, Swedish, is from Sweden, and was, I believe, playing in Sweden when we picked him up. Yeah, he was Vestros SK, and we picked him up for 520,000 RMB, which is not too bad. You go look over here at the coach report. We think he's a decent young prospect. He's going to be potentially able to improve a lot and should be able to play well for us today. So after all of those cup matches and all that other junk that we had to do, we figured, we might as well put him out there, give him a start, and let's see what he can do. And so we'll see what happens. I mean, maybe we have good luck today. Maybe we wind up winning this match by a large margin, as we really should, or maybe everything comes crashing down, and then you can make fun of me for not being able to win with these players against an awful team. Nobody's here, of course, as is usually the case when we play on the road. I'll tell you, in this China universe, we have some major problems because apparently nobody's very interested in watching football. Nobody has money. Nobody wants to interact with the sport or do anything like that. So, I'm not sure what it is that we can do to fix that, but we'll see. We are technically in fourth place right now with only 9 points because of the one match that we lost. As the season progresses, we should be able to remedy that situation, I believe, because I think that we're actually better than every other team in this league. It was just that hard match against Wuhan Chengjiang, or whatever they're called, that did that for us. And we're trying to make sure we're on the same page there, and we had kind of a poor pass forward. As you can see as well, the condition of all of our players who are starting today is good, which is one of the reasons why I chose them. Attendance of a little bit under 3,000 here today, and yeah, that's not great. Straight Xiaopeng now with the free kick. And this hits off of somebody, and it ends up being headed back into the area, and we're just not able to get around onto it. Abreva now chases it down, knocks it back to Sandberg, who for some reason is playing there in the back. I probably should have actually looked at the corner or the free kick instructions, but no problem. Lazzo here to Ployman over to Dicko Eng. Forward to Sandberg, and he has his first shot on goal, and that one forces a save from Wang Zixiang, the Shanghai goaltender. And it's going to be Shui Xiaopeng now with the corner. He goes back. This corner moves up and forward, looking for Kashi and can't quite find him. He goes over to Boya and then to Sandberg again, and that is the end of that highlight. And we're not even looking close to scoring, and we'll see how this works out for us. Nobody having a particularly poor game so far, but you can see that Sandberg is just not quite awake there when he's out there. And we're looking for Delphi as well, who had 5 goals in that last league match. Lee Jingyong now with it over to Brefa. Brefa over to Shui Xiaopeng. Forward to Delphi. Delphi looks, finds Sandberg, and Sandberg passes back to Dick Hoang instead of taking the shot himself. I'm not quite sure I understand what the idea behind that was. He should have taken the shot himself. Abreva now with the corner, and he steps back and fires, looking for Kashin, and can't quite find him, and that's the end of that. And I'm not sure I fully understand this. So Delphi has this excellent pass that gets Sandberg, who's in behind the defense, and instead of shooting, he passes. So, I think we have a little bit of work to do here because we need to have a striker who will play like a striker and shoot, not be scared of it when he gets the ball in that situation. Kashin goes back and picks this one up over to Abreva. Abreva takes it forward. Abreva looking for Boya, finds him there. Boya now, and he crosses looking for Sandberg, but is just too far in front of him. Over to Ployman, now to Lee Jingyong. Lee Jingyong with the shot, and that one goes nowhere, and unfortunately, that is the end of the highlight for us. And here we have now Ployman with the throw over to Sandberg. Sandberg down to Dicko Eng. Dicko Eng looking for Brefa, and there was also kind of a poorly, kind of ill-advised cross there by the player. I forget which player that was, but crossing backwards in the situation really wasn't going to do much as we had so many players forward. At Brefa now. Brave over to Shui Xiaopeng. Looking forward to Brave. It's a really good ball from Shui Xiaopeng. And it's Dicko Ng there with the header, but unfortunately that one is over the goal. And this was not a real bad idea, I'll say. That was a great ball played by Shui Xiaopeng. Brave able to get onto that. And I think that the problem in this case is probably more with Dicko Ng and his poor heading ability than anything else. But it was a good idea. Brave now throws over to Delphi. Delphi back to Brave over to Shui Xiaopeng. Shui Xiaopeng moves laterally up to Ployman. Ployman now, and it's just taken off of him by the defender. Ployman hasn't played very much, and I think that's kind of what the problem is. Caixin has it taken off of him, and he goes and gets it back to Liu Xiaoziyang over to Lazzo. Lazzo looks forward for Sandberg, who runs first before the ball's even there, and then there's the thread the needle pass over to Yunus Delphi, who scores the easy goal. And Delphi, I think, is still leading the league in goals, and probably will be for quite some time. The nice thing about having a player like Delphi is that when the rest of our strikers are tired, we can stick him in, and we know that he'll score the goals. And hopefully players like Sandberg and Cheng Binbin, when he gets healthy again, guys like this will be able to improve while they're playing with players like Delphi. Caixin now with the free kick, and that's over the top of everything. We haven't looked quite as dominant in this match as we normally do, but we're playing fairly well. Shui Xiaopeng with the free kick finds Lazzo, just can't find him. It ends up going off the defender's head, and Lazzo has not really impressed me out there in defense. Lee Jin-young now with it. Takes it up himself, still him, and he's going to crosses it backwards to Dicko Ng, and Jakob has to score that. I don't know how he misses that one. He's missed a couple of sitters here so far in this one. That was beautiful play by Lee Jin-young. I mean, look at the creativity. He figures out what he wants to do, and he has this excellent pass backwards, and Dicko Ng had nothing but goal in front of him, ends up kicking it to the 10th row. So, I mean, you tell me what happened there. I don't exactly know it. We have a great looking XG. We've had a lot of shots on target. I am happy with that. I'm not particularly happy with the way that Dicko Ng has been playing, even though he has a good rating. I need to see somebody who can score goals. We're going to put Jubin in there because I think that Jubin is a better player. Lazzo is the other one that I'm kind of scratching my head about. I think we're going to put Paulsen back in there. Let's see if he can do something. Paulsen had a really poor first half yesterday against Shandong in the Chinese FA Cup. And let's see if he can redeem himself a little bit here. He's been injured for a while, Paulsen that is, and we'll see if we can get him back to his winning ways. And what we have to do first is get the ball off of them. And we just barely missed that chance to the interception. And this is not looking good. The defense looks like it doesn't know what it's doing. And there's a Brave finally getting it off of him. But Sandberg can't corral the header. And finally, in the end, it looks like Lee Jin-young steps in and takes it off of them. That looked pretty poor on our part. Borja now over to Brave. Brave lobs this one forward, looking for Borja, who doesn't know that he needs to run forward with that, and instead just sort of stands there picking his nose. It's with Wang Zixiang, and we end up winning it back. Lee Jin-young now looking for Ployman, which is kind of the wrong way to look for it. It was a pretty poor decision on his part. And Liu Xiaozi, unfortunately, is able to go back and get that attempt on an attack. Lee Jin-young now over to Shui Xiaopeng. Shui Xiaopeng finds Borja. Borja knocks it forward to Jubin. And Jubin, who's much more offensively minded, back to Ployman. Ployman over to Delphi, and that's a very good shot on goal by Delphi. And sometimes that's going to be a goal, but not today, unfortunately. Really good thought by Jubin, back to Ployman, and then over to Delphi. And you can see you make that sort of almost a triangle type attack. And that was not too bad. Not too bad at all. Wang Zixiang winds up once again with the ball at goal for Shanghai Shenxin. And we really should be scoring more goals than just one in this match. Paulsen is able to win that one over to Shui Xiaopeng, then to Brave. Brave just can't find his man, and it's intercepted once again, and that looked pretty poor. And fortunately for us, Caixin is back to win this ball back. He passes it over to Liu Xiaoziyang, and then back to Ployman as we regroup. Ployman is going to now run this one up himself over to Delphi, and he finds Jubin. Jubin with the shot on goal. He's offside anyway. It's okay. But that's what I mean when I say that Jubin is a much more offensively minded player than Jakob Dicko Ng. Because with Dicko Ng, you don't see those shots necessarily go on goal that often. I've had some problems with how Dicko Ng's been playing. Borja now wins it back over to Brave to Lee Jin-young. He Jin-young down to Sandberg. Sandberg over to Jubin, and there's Jubin again. He runs past the goaltender. Unfortunately for Shanghai Shenxin, they're able to get a defender that can get his foot onto it to knock that one out for a corner. But again, that was excellent play by Jubin. It shows just how offensively minded he is. Abreva now, and he just sort of watches that when he sees offside, and that goes out for a throw. I mean, you go back and you look at this replay. So Sandberg had it, and he's able to find Jubin just crossing inside, and that's exactly what you want him to do. It's just kind of a shame that the defender was barely able to get his foot onto that, or that's another easy goal for Jubin. That's the sort of player that he is. That's why I like starting him so much. We have an XG of almost 2.5 and only one goal in this match. Shui Xiaopeng now over to Delphi, and it's just too far forward for him, and then Paulson has to go back and clean up the mess over to Abreva. Abreva gets into crossing position. Abreva goes back here to Boya, then to Sandberg, now to Shui Xiaopeng, who takes a shot at goal from sort of from range, and that one's not really troubling anybody. It's a good thought. It's a good thought, and we're not going to criticize him too much for that. It's been kind of an adventurous game here for some of these new guys, I think, especially for Sandberg, who looks like he's still trying to get his wits about him. Paulson now with it over to Yi Jin-young. Yi Jin-young knocks it forward, looking for Boya, finds him to Delphi, and then to Sandberg, who's able to round the keeper, and he gets rid of his frustrations by knocking it into goal as hard as he can. I think he's onside. Let's see what they say. Let's see what happens here, and they have disallowed that for offside, and he must have been just a hair offside. Let's see if we can find it here. Yeah, more than a hair. I mean, he's about a yard offside, so that's all right. We won't complain too much about that, but I bet knocking it into the back of the net feels good. And so hopefully that will help his confidence a little bit. Abreva now back with the corner and knocks it forward, looking for Paulson, and ends up being with Kaixin, who unfortunately just knocks that one over the bar and out. We haven't hit the woodwork much today, which is what we usually end up doing. Wang Zixiang knocks this forward, and it's going to be Kaixin winning this in the air again, over to Paulson, then to Abreva. Abreva moves forward slowly, knocks it forward to Boya. Boya looking for a cross, finds the cross to Yi Jin-young, and that one skids off the top of the netting again and out for a goal kick. So we're just attacking the goal, but we can't quite get it to fall in. Wang Zixiang now knocks this forward, and it's with Paulson, then to Delphi, and then this one is won back. Paulson, though, able to grab it over to Shui Xiaopeng, to Kaixin, over to Yi Jin-young, back to Shui Xiaopeng again. He looks forward, looking for Jubin again. And unfortunately for him, he just can't quite get back onto that. Their goaltender knocks it back now to Kaixin again, who wins everything in the air to Paulson, to Yi Jin-young. Yi Jin-young takes it forward himself, looks and finds Sandberg, actually. I thought he was going to find Jubin there, and Sandberg shoots, I guess. I thought that was a pass. So that's a pretty interesting idea. Jubin actually, according to XG, is having a poor match, but I would say it's not been that poor. He's one of the only players who's doing anything on attack. Delphi now knocks it back over to Jubin, who scores the goal, but I'm not sure if he's onside or not. I think that one might be coming back as well. Let's see what happens. It'd be interesting if we had a second goal called back for offside here. Yep, that's called back, and I think that he was just barely off. Let's see what they say here. Yeah, boy, that's a much closer call. I think that one actually could have gone either way, but it's all right. We'll get more chances. 10 more minutes left in this match, and this time they're able to win the header. As you can see, Shanghai is putting all of the players in an attacking position, which might open things up for us. There's Ployman now, and he finds Jubin again, who I don't think is having such a poor game. Over to Ployman and back over to Jubin, who corrals it there in a crossing position, then back to Ployman as they play back and forth. Ployman now crosses it all the way over to Boya, who decides to head that one goalwards, and that was a real good play by Boya, who's starting to impress me more and more the more he plays with this team. Abreva now. Abreva is going to take the corner. He stands back and waits for a second, then knocks it forward and finds Kaixin, and that's, again, over the very top. And so this is one of those things we keep peppering the goal with shots and shots and shots. I think it was either Paulson or Kaixin who got the header on it. But the shots that we're getting are not quite of the quality that we need. 30 shots, 9 on target, and we only have the one goal to show for it. Abreva now throws it over to Yi Jin-young. Yi Jin-young to Abreva. Abreva down to Boya. Back to Abreva. Abreva. And I'm not sure what he's doing. He's making a whole bunch of moves and going the wrong way with it. Now to Yi Jin-young. Yi Jin-young knocks it down, looking for Shui Xiaopeng. That was a horrible pass. It's Kaixin over to Ployman. Ployman now back to Yi Jin-young. Yi Jin-young over to Shui Xiaopeng. Shui Xiaopeng, and he'll just take a shot from range, and that's a good idea, but we need to teach him how to shoot. He doesn't look like he knows what he's doing out there. Jubin, wow, with a 6.2 XG. I'm not quite sure why, because everything I've seen him do looks positive, so whatever. Boyman knocks at Lee Jin-young. It's not like he hasn't touched the ball either. Lee to Boya, and I'm not sure what he's doing with that. That's an interesting way to play with it. And he's kind of running into his guy instead of around him, and it's knocked over to Sandberg, whose header just goes high and wide. And that's the final whistle. And so there's your match. 1-0 Yanbian FC with a victory. And that was a pretty ugly one. We should have won by a bigger margin than that, but we'll take it. A win is a win. And that's it for today, and we'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye.